What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bean Soldier TV. Oh geez, oh wow. A non-Nuzlocke video. This past weekend I was at YCS Philly, and I decided that I was going to take a deck that has been near and dear to my heart ever since I started playing the game, because it was the first deck that I ever played. I saw that Orcust topped the Nationals, which was kind of the whole reason that I wanted to build this deck in the first place. But I'll tell you right now, we're not Ibly locking because that's cringe. Let's take a look at what I played for YCS Philly. Starting off the main deck, we're playing a very standard package. We're playing 3 Wakaushi. If you say Wakaushi, you are wrong. I will die on that hill. As well as the 2 Benkai. 3 Soul Piercer, which, to be honest, probably should have been the hit on the ban list, putting this to like 1 or something. 3 Bike, which is also our Droll Bait, as well as only 1 Wagon. We're already doubling up on normal summons in the deck because of the Orcust package, which we'll see in a second. And Wagon is not one of the starters that we want to see in our opening combo, unless we absolutely have to. For the 1-ofs, we're playing Soul Peacemaker. I know some people play this in multiples, but due to deck size, we're only playing the 1. 1 Scales, 1 Booster, and 1 Stealthy. The other mandatory 1-ofs that we have to play, we're also playing Regulus, as well as the Jizukiru. Both of these you can search off your Clifford Genius, but we also play another way to access Regulus in the extra deck as well. Now into the best package of the deck, the Orcust cards. We're playing 3 Girsu. This card had a lot of different utility and was one of the reasons I was able to do as well in the event as I did. For those of you that don't know what Orcust cards do, Girsu sends any Orcust from the deck to the graveyard. It can send our Orcust Nightmare, Simple Skeleton, and it can also send our World Legacy World 1. Nightmare foolishes another Orcust from the deck to the grave, Simple can reborn an Orcust, and World 1 can special an Orcust from the banish pile. Girsu also has another incredible effect, especially going into the Kashtira matchup, where if you don't control any other monsters except for Girsu, you can special a token to both sides of the field. And that token you can use to help go into like an IP Masquerena, or just use it for other generic link material because it is a machine. We're also playing the 1 copy of Orchestrated Babel, and you might wonder, like, okay, you're playing a spell, obviously it's going to turn off all your super heavy cards. Babel's really nice for the fact that if it's in your graveyard, you can discard a card to reset it from your graveyard to your field. This helps get around the super heavy restriction of getting spells out of your graveyard to keep their effects online. Even with the 7-card Orcust package, we're still able to play 15 hand traps, so I decided to play the ones that I thought were best for this event. So we're playing 3 Ash, 3 Gamma, with the mandatory driver, 3 Nibiru, which caught a lot of people off guard at the event, 3 Veiler, as well as 3 Droll and Lockbird. Our extra deck for the most part is pretty standard. We're playing 2 Scarecrow. Rest in peace. I am devastated by this ban because I wanted to keep playing Orcust this format. Playing Clifford Genius. This also searches out our Regulus or our Jizukiru, as well as in some very niche situations, also searching out our Orcust pieces. We are playing IP Masquerena and Unicorn. This is pretty mandatory, especially with the Orcust package. We're also playing Appaloosa as an option to go into with the IP as well. For the Orcust part of the extra deck, we're playing the 1 Galatea. It went to Girsu. If this got ripped out of my extra deck by Unicorn or Diablosis, I was just going to cry about it. But most people said, oh, that looks weird, and then just didn't touch it, and then they lost the game. We are playing Gear Gigan X. This is the main reason that we're able to play the Orcust engine in the first place, because we're able to search out the Girsu with the Gear Gigan. From there, we can either normal summon it by going through a route that doesn't need our normal summon, especially if we open up things like Wakaushi, or we can also use it as material for our pen summon as well. Earlier I mentioned we were also playing another way to search out our Regulus. We are playing the Merrymaker Sargus package. This came up so many times. I very much discounted these cards when I was first playtesting because they weren't coming up that much. The more that I played with them, the more utility they had. Especially being able to make a 4-material Zeus was incredible all throughout the weekend. For our Synchros, we're playing the pretty standard ones. We're playing Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. The card's absolutely incredible, especially to help make our Baron de Flor. And then we're also playing a Borload Savage Dragon. Rather than doing a long combo tutorial, I just want to show you what the end board typically looked like. It was typically Baron with Borload Savage, Regulus, an IP with a Din Girsu setup with the Orchestrated Babel, so we can bring the Din Girsu back with a Simple Skeleton to send a monster on our opponent's side of the field to a grave. So 3 Omni Negates, a Unicorn Spin, and also a Din Girsu non-target send. Not to mention, you also end with follow-up. Moving on to the side, I do think that this needs a little bit more work. There were a couple cards that I wish I played, like Fenrir, because there's a card that I played in here that just did not come up at all. We were playing a Bestial package with just 2 Magnemite and Druid Swarm because I did not have the room, because I did want to play DD Crow for the Purely matchup. Played Archfiend Eccentric. This card was unbelievable. This helped a lot with dealing with Floodgates, as well as dealing with other problematic monsters that I just needed an out to immediately. Kurakara, true MVP. Card's unbelievable. The worst card in my side was Sage de Fleur. I respected Rainbow Magician way too much for this event. I didn't run into it once, and I didn't side into the Sage once for the entire event. Last but not least, we are playing one copy of The Boy, Sarutobi. Not only was this one of my ways to deal with back row matchups, but the burn is also nice, especially if you're going into time. Unfortunately, that did come up once. It's the worst way to win. It's my least favorite way to win. I did end up going 5-3 at the event with my losses to Mathmech, Dragon Link, and the Super Heavy Mare. Only one of those losses was completely out of my control. The other 2 losses were just because I did not understand what my opponent's cards did, just due to unfamiliarity with the format. So lesson learned, read your opponent's cards. Had I read, I do think that I had a really solid shot at making day 2. It's just unfortunate how it went. All I'm saying is you have one more week to play with this deck before it gets banned. Have fun while it lasts.